Thank you very much. We'll move forward. Power of questioning. So, how questions play a role in life and how does it help us enhance the quality of our life is what we will know in this webinar. Now, you see this picture of two armed guards from a bench here. I happened to read the story recently in WhatsApp only, and a new commanding officer comes to this place to command a team, and he comes to know that there are always two soldiers guarding this this what do you call it, chair, you can say, right? So why? And they said, no, we don't know why, but there's a custom here. So this new commanding officer asked his predecessor, he says, that's a custom here. So that's how it goes about the senior most guy who's almost 100 years, he was asked, I was told that you are the senior most, you are retired now. I would like to know why there are two guards guarding this rest table. What do you say in English? I don't know. He said, is the paint
bench?
Yeah, tell me.
You can say bench.
Bench. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks. Yeah, bench. So then the senior most retired commanding officer, almost 100 years, he was asked by this serving commanding officer, why are two men guarding this bench? That retired person asked, is the paint not dried? Is it still wet? He asked. So sometimes if we ask questions only, we get to know the reality. Otherwise, simply we keep doing without knowing for what purpose are we doing. That's one example. Yeah. That way, questions is a gateway to wisdom, gateway to knowledge. Questions are mind openers. There is another story that comes to my mind now. A bus driver stops a bus stop, and one robust guy gets into the bus, well built, like a maybe judo person, and he says, Big John will not buy bus ticket. The bus driver could not ask him why, because he was afraid. The bus driver being very puny, and the passenger was robust. The bus driver was afraid he could be knocked down, so he didn't ask. At the same time, he was fuming inside my mind. And this fellow very has the audacity to say that he won't buy a bus ticket, and I'm not able to ask him. Next day also same thing happens. About a month it happens like this. The bus driver lost his peace of mind. I need to ask this guy somehow. How dare he says that he will not buy a bus ticket? So he prepares his mind. He learns judo, karate, all self-defense, builds his body well, and he comes to duty, starts the bus. Same Big John enters into this bus. He says, Big John will not buy a bus ticket. Then the bus conductor, driver come conductor, gets the guts. How dare you say that you will not buy a bus ticket? Why can't you buy a bus ticket? The fellow says, I have a bus pass. Why should I buy a bus ticket? A simple question, that I have a bus, why you don't buy? That assertively asking question. If you had asked about a month before or maybe 6 months before, you would have gained his peace of mind. This bus driver, because he assumed that that fellow could be a bully, easily would have knocked him, assuming in his own mind, he did not ask this question, why can't you buy a bus ticket? Finally, it turned out to be that he holds a bus pass, so he doesn't need to buy a bus ticket. It's a simple question. So questions are mind openers. So if you learn to ask appropriate questions, you can open up new doors for progression. Questions help you to navigate to new shores. Yeah. Questioning is the key to gaining more information, without which interpersonal communication can fail, because most of the time, if we ask appropriate questions, right questions at the right time, probably communication misunderstanding can be avoided, or we gain the right information at the right time, by which we get the right connect and we keep moving forward. Failing which I'll be living in my own assumptions. Other person could be in his own assumptions and confusions can happen. So questioning, appropriately asking questions help to build relationship. Questioning is the fundamental to successful communication. How we will know gradually. And benefits of questioning. This is how I call it as clip, just for understanding. Yeah, clip. Questions you ask keep the conversation on track and keep you in charge of interaction. Because people can always deviate from the main topic, keep going on. Probably if you ask questions and you were saying something on that, I think you have deviated, can you come back? So when you ask that, you're bringing back the conversation on track, and then the interaction can be useful. So questions control the conversation or interaction. Listening. We all know that listening is an important part of communication, not simply telling. The more you listen to the other person, the more you gain as information and the more control you can have in the entire process. So that way, listening. And for listening to happen, you can ask questions, especially open-ended questions. We will come to know on that. When you ask open-ended questions, the respondent can possibly say more and more information, which helps you to listen to vital information also, along with maybe non-essential details, and that empowers you with information from the other person, and you can always respond adequately. So listening is one aspect of communication effectiveness. For listening to happen for you, questions help you. Information. Obviously, communication is to connect with people, and in every communication, basically information is shared. So if you are careful with your questions, you can discover all kinds of information. When you appropriately question, then information can really come. Like how the bus driver example that, why can't you buy a bus ticket? Had he asked, then you would have got the right information. So when you ask questions, informations come. Persuasion. Questions persuade people to respond. Specific and directed questions can make people respond in the way that you want. I am presenting this webinar, and can you not register for this? A question like this can persuade people to consider registration. Can you register before evening? Because webinar starts at 7:30, and can you register? It will be nice you register. So instead of direct statements, if you put questions, you also involve the respondent to commit and go by your way. So there are certain specific persuasion methods by questions. So this is what CLIP, I mean CLIP, to remember for the benefits of questioning, because bonding also happens. The more you communicate appropriately, better bonding happens. That bondage here means not necessarily a liability, but more of a relationship with good rapport makes people bond easily. Trust is built, and once trust is built, it's easy for people to comfortably communicate, transact, interact, and get going. There's something to, in a lighter way, I saw that it's in Tamil, just enjoy it.
வணக்கம் வணக்கம். நான் வெளியூர். யாருமே இந்த தெருப்பக்கம் வர மாட்டேங்கிறாங்களே, உங்களை கண்டாலே பயந்து ஓடுறாங்களே, என்ன காரணம்? உங்க பேரு? முத்து. வயசு 40. வெளியூர் சொன்னீங்களே, எந்த ஊரு? செங்கல்பட்டு. செங்கல்பட்டு ப்ராப்பரா இல்ல சுத்துப்புறமா? ஊர் ஓரமா. உங்க ஊர்ல மழை பெஞ்சிச்சா? மழை பெஞ்ச வெள்ளமே வந்திருக்க. எவ்வளவு அடி? ஆளுக்கு மேல வந்திருக்க. மழை நின்னு போச்சா? பத்தியே போச்சுங்க. மழை பெய்யும் போது இடி மின்னல் எல்லாம் இருந்துச்சா? பகல்ல இடி, ராத்திரில மின்னலுங்க. அப்ப ராத்திரில இடி சத்தமே இல்லையா? இருக்குமே. பெருசா இருந்துச்சா கம்மியா இருந்துச்சா? பெருசாங்க. பெருசுன்னா எப்படி? பாறை உருட்டி விட்டு பாருங்க. மேலேந்து பாறையை உருட்டி விட முடியுமா? முடியுமே. எப்படி? காத்தடிச்சா உருளுங்க. உப்பு காத்தா ஊத காத்தா? ஊத காத்துங்க. ஊத காத்த நீங்க பாத்திருக்கீங்களா? ஐயா, காத்த பாத்திருக்கீங்களா? ஆள விடி, ஆனா போறேன். விடுங்கிறீங்களே, நான் விடணுமா நீங்க விட போறீங்களா? நானே போறையா. போறேன்னா எங்க போறீங்க? தற்கொலை பண்ணிக்க போறையா. பாவம், அவருக்கு என்ன வருத்தமோ.
Was the audio, you could hear the sound?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Yeah. So if you keep asking questions like that, naturally people would run away from us. So there is a way to ask questions. There's a methodology to ask questions. And it was very obvious how we should not ask questions. Yeah. And of course, these are the questioning methods that are normally employed during conversations. And this is what we're going to see today. Four types of questions which help us to interact well with people and get things done. Yeah. So one is open-ended question and closed-ended questions, then probing questions, then leading questions, then inspiring questions. We will see one by one. Open questions. When you want to engage someone in conversation, you employ open questions. Yeah. So, hello. So I would like to know more about you, and I'll be happy to listen to whatever you say on about your achievements. Can you say something? When you ask these kind of questions, the other person may happily respond. Yeah. So that's one way. Yeah. When you want to gather more information, then obviously you keep asking questions. One by one in a subtle way, not in an interrogative way. When you keep asking, then you will get more information. Open-ended question always opens the other person to say more and more.
Hi, Ranganathan. You said something when you in the open-ended. When you want to gather more information, you said it not an interrogative way. In which way then, actually?
In a very friendly way.
Okay.
In a very friendly way, if we can ask with a smiling face, and then we can ask. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So can I ask you one question? And how did you come to know of this webinar? This way. How did you come to know the webinar? What made you enroll? The tonality difference, So that way, when you ask in a very friendly tone with a smile, then the other person may be enthused to respond. If the person is not responding, then I think we need to change. Maybe I'm wrong in asking questions to you at this point of time. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're disturbed now. Perhaps maybe I can ask later. I'm sorry, and then we need to drop out. So initially, when you want to build a relationship with people, or when you want to understand somebody more and more, it is better that we ask open-ended questions only initially, giving space for the other person to open out. And as a questioner, if we can pay attention to what the person says, giving space for the person to express fully, and then subtly ask questions, it will be better. Yeah. And it is important that you make the other person feel comfortable and open out. Normally they say, I mean, in a very crude way, I'm saying the women should not be asked of her age, man his salary. They say, So too much of personal questions should not be asked initially. Allow the person to open out. What we say as permissive questions. In coaching, we say as permissive questions. I would like to ask you one information about your career. Can I ask you? Obviously, the person will say yes. It's a can I ask you is a closed-ended question. The person will obviously say yes. And this is what I am interested to know about you. What made you choose this career now at this point of time? Or what is so fascinating about that you are into this assignment now? When you ask like that, the person may be enthused to open up. So it's open-ended questions are more about gathering more information and more detailed information.
Ranganathan, here one more question I have.
Who is that? Can I know the name, please?
Yeah, Imran Khan here.
Imran, yeah, please, Imran, yeah.
Yeah. So you are saying when the person feel comfortable and open out in the open-ended question. For example, I'm giving you. Hey, hi, Ranganathan. Can I ask your address? You may say the answer, or can I say, may I know your address? So does both remains the same, or is there any conflict, any changes there, or remains the same?
It means the same. The meaning is same. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Closed questions. When the person detours and non-specific in reply, maybe you can ask closed questions. When you want to get precise answers, then you can ask closed-ended questions. We will go into the details. So, and when you want more
For
specific,
example, what Imran, I believe, what question you asked
I
is
would
a
like to
close-
intervene here. I said initially, we can have this question number at the last if you permit me. Because
Sorry,
1 hour, it's a packed session. So
sorry.
I want you to reserve your questions now and ask me in the question hour. Whatever you have, please note it down. Otherwise, we'll go into deliberation discussion that will distract the whole purpose of this packed session. If you can do for 3-4 hours, I understand, yes, but it's only 1 hour. Yeah, please permit me to have that privilege. Yeah. So when you want specific information, then you go for closed-ended question. Can I ask you to stop asking questions now and reserve it for, it's a closed-ended question. So please, will you now withhold from asking questions? Is a closed-ended question so that you take on the track. Are you moving, Girija? Are you walking and listening? Yeah, I'll be happy if you stay put because your movement distracts me. Please. Or put your video mute. Yeah. When you want commitment from the person, then you can also ask. Please say yes or no, and I want you to say yes or no. It's a binary question. So closed-end questions are binary questions so that it brings down, narrows down, and then get the person to commitment. Now, this is how open-ended questions are normally asked. What makes you say that? From where you got this information? When can I expect this response from you? Or who made you register for this webinar? Why have you chosen to attend this webinar? How do you feel the whole proceeding is? So these kind of questions, when you ask the person can open out more and more. If the person is not responding, then you know the person is not interested to answer. Maybe you can choose to close the conversation there, or I feel that you can give more information and I somehow find you are not giving more information. I'll be happy if you can give more information. Can you say more details? Like that, when you keep asking, the person can open up. So what, where, when, who, why, and how. Normally, the question why subconsciously puts people to defensive. Instead of asking why, if you can replace what purpose or what makes you, why do you attend this webinar? When you ask this question, even though the questions could be sincere, why do you attend? That means subconsciously people resist why. That's the finding. No, people have found when you ask why, it puts people defensive. Instead of why, if you can replace why with for what purpose? For what purpose that you choose to read this book? For what purpose or what made you stop attending that session? Why did you stop attending? Instead of that, what made you stop attending? When you ask like that, that gives space for people to open up. So this is a finding, which is said. And closed questions lead to a simple yes or no answer only. It's a binary question. It also has a place. As you know the funnel of questioning, you will know the importance of closed questions. And closed-ended questions often are asked at the end of conversation. When you narrow down the choices, when you come to conclusion, it's better that you come to closed-ended questions so that we stay on track and purpose and the transaction is meaningful. In the initial itself, when you keep asking closed-ended questions, we may not gather more information. Or closed-ended questions can be asked when you don't have time. You need quick answers. There's not much enough of time. Say yes or no quickly. We say yes or no. But normally, by and large in life, we have sufficient time to discuss. At that time, starting with open-ended questions, gradually going and closing it with a closed-ended question may serve the purpose for you, for the purpose you are interacting. Yeah. Closed-ended questions, when did that happen? Instead of that, what led you to that? If you ask like that and you have a lot of time, and if you can, instead of asking when did that happen, maybe if you ask like that, what led up to that happening? What made that happen? When you ask like that, chances are people can open up. Was your trip successful? Yes or no, people will say. What did you manage to accomplish on your trip? or when the person, was your trip successful? And the person says, when you ask that question, was your trip successful? The person says, yes. You can say, wow, it's very interesting. And what makes you say it was successful? What is it that you accomplished on your trip? Maybe you can ask like that. Did you like the candidate? Especially in interview, when you say, did you like the candidate? If the person says yes or no, and you want to know more, what makes you say that the candidate did not meet your need? Oh, it didn't meet your need. You're not satisfied. Oh, what makes you say that? Can you say more about it? Maybe you can ask like that. Did you have a good meeting? Person say no or yes. And if you want to have more information, what happened at the meeting? Can you elaborate more? So this way, you can play with open-ended question or closed-ended questions when you want to gather more information. Probing questions. As the word says, probing questions, it's to find more details. When you need clarification or when you want to prevent misunderstanding, you can probe further, because sometimes people can be very, very vague. This is what often we find in our transactions. Tomorrow evening, 5 o'clock, I think we can meet and discuss this particular area you were asking me, and I think we can meet tomorrow. Can we? The person says, yeah, mostly in the evening, I think I should be available. Mostly in the evening, I think I should be available. It's a very, very non-committal answer. Okay, you think. So when will you be sure that you can attend it? I want you to come and meet me tomorrow evening by 5 o'clock. And when can you assure me? It's a probing question, so that you bring the person to. And this is what normally people will say, especially தமிழ்ல சொன்னாக்க, சார் நாளைக்கு சாயந்தரம் ஒரு கூட்டம் இருக்கு, நீங்க அவசியம் கூட்டத்துக்கு வரணும் அப்படின்னா, சார் முடிஞ்சா வந்துருவேன் சார் அப்படிம்பார். அப்படி யாராவது சொன்னா நான் சொல்லுவேன், சார் கூட்டம் 7 மணிக்கு முடிஞ்சிடும், முடிஞ்ச உடனே வாங்க அப்படின்றேன். முடிஞ்சா வரேன் அப்படின்னா ப்ரோக்ராம் முடிஞ்சு வருதுன்னு அர்த்தம். So முடிஞ்சா வரேங்கிறது is a non-committal answer. And if you want the person to be specific, then you can ask, sir, when you say முடிஞ்சா வரேன் அப்படின்னா வேற முடியாம போறதுக்கு ஏதாவது வாய்ப்பு இருக்கா? Is there anything that prevents you from attending? No, I don't know, but something important comes, I don't know. Sometimes very funnily people would say, I don't know, something important comes, as if this program is not important, Something important comes. In fact, it's a word, something urgent comes. Urgency is, you can never anticipate urgency. Maybe something important can be there, but urgency is something that emerges out from blue last minute. You cannot anticipate urgency. So these are all evasive answers. So if you want that person to definitely come for the meeting, then you need to probe further. What is stopping him from committing? Should I do anything for you to really come? Then the person can open out and then you can help him. So when you need clarification, please ask specific questions. Or when you want to prevent misunderstanding, ask probing questions. Like examples. When do you need to make this project move forward? When are you going to give me an exact figure? See, all these is presupposed. In NLP, we say it's a presupposition. No, we presuppose that something is not moving forward. So you ask this question, when do you need to make this project move forward? When are you going to give me an exact figure? That means the exact figure is not given. So you're asking him to commit. When is it going to be exactly ready? Can I expect a very, very precise answer tomorrow? When you ask like that, it presupposes that the person has not been giving a precise answer so far, has been giving an evasive answer. And so you ask him, you are not giving a precise answer. Is an offensive statement. The person may feel offended. So instead of that, very subtly when you put it, can I tomorrow get a precise answer from you? When you put like that, it is a statement, in fact, made in the form of a question, and there are all chances, if the other person, respondent, is intelligent enough and responsible enough, can appropriately respond. Yeah. So what exactly do you mean by unlimited usage? Normally, these guys from the internet providers, unlimited usage, they will say. I remember the advertisement I was hearing in radios those days, before the advent of television. Camel, unbreakable pencil, சீக்கிரம் உடையாது அப்படிம்பாங்க. How can an unbreakable pencil சீக்கிரம் உடையாது? But these are the slogans that people use. So unlimited usage. Oh, unlimited usage. But what exactly you mean by unlimited usage? Then they'll say, oh, it's 400 GB. But then the word that they use, unlimited usage. So to avoid confusion or assumptions or misunderstanding, these questions can be asked if you have a doubt about it. Like the bus driver case. Probing question the bus driver did not ask. When Big John will not buy the bus ticket, the driver assumed that he is a bully. Whereas had he probed, he said, you will not buy a ticket. Why? What makes you say that? If you had asked a probing question, maybe you would have got the answer. So probing questions can be asked the moment you have a doubt or when you seek more information or clarity is required. What do you mean by no one is interested? These are statements normally we say in NLP generalization. We universalize. Nobody is interested. People these days are very selfish. Very generalized statement made. You mean all people? Everyone is selfish? What do you mean by selfishness? Can I know? So when you ask questions, maybe the person says genuinely or some assumptions. So clarity you can get by probing questions. Can you be more specific? Can you give an example of that? What happened then? How does this affect you? What might cause that? Do you think? So can you fill in more details? That means seeking more information, asking subtly is probing questions. Probing does not mean interrogation, doubting, or like that. As a questioner, you seek more information. So ask with all sincerity and friendly tone, but specific questions you ask what exactly you want. Tonality is important. As I reiterate, tonality is very important. There is no interrogation or doubt about it. Give the benefit of doubt and ask with sincerely seeking information. Leading questions are asked to get things done from people. Instead of saying, please do it, you ask questions in a leading way. The person normally would say yes. Like what we say as S pattern, So 3 or 4 questions will be asked as for which there will be a definite yes answer. The 5th statement, the person is tuned to answer. Like for example, your name is V. Ranganathan. Yes. You are a trainer. Yes. You conduct this webinar. Yes. So I keep on saying yes, yes, yes on facts. Then I think you can register for the webinar tomorrow. The person would be saying automatically yes only. So this is called yes pattern. Leading questions are asked in such a way that you get an affirmative answer. When you want to lead the person in the direction of your choice. Good for getting answers if you want while allowing freedom of choice. You give an impression as if you are allowing a choice. At the same time, you are indirectly putting the person in a spot to respond in the way you want it, in a win-win context, not in a manipulative way. It can be manipulated, but nevertheless, leading questions can be asked. Like for example, leading questions are asked to indicate personal preference. Questions are normally coined to get yes from the other person. And you assume something as a fact without verification. Give your chosen 2 choices. I'll give an example like this. Yeah, personal preference. I think this webinar is definitely giving you the benefit. Don't you think so? I want you to say yes. Instead of that, I'm putting like this. I think it's a good color. Don't you think so? Mostly people will say yes. So I prefer this color. So I say already as if the color is good. I think the color is good. Can you say? Getting to yes. Shall we all agree to the decision? Which means please say yes. That's how it is. Like I still remember when my professor said in the college, he said about how leaders, dictators, when the language that they use, he said of Indira Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, she would convene her council of ministers and say, I have decided to nationalize all banks in this country. Now let us discuss. What discussion that ministers will do? Obviously, they'll say yes, because the leader has said, I have decided this. Now let us discuss. So obviously getting to yes only. Of course, it's in a different tone, he said, but normally, shall we all agree to the decision? So mostly people will say yes. If someone doesn't agree, or you don't agree, okay, so can I know the reason that you don't agree to this? then you can ask questions. So indirectly leading the person to say yes. Assume facts. How bad was that program? Instead of asking, how was the program? I conclude as if the program must have been bad. How bad was the program? If the person concurs to that, or if the person doesn't want to displease me, the person always can say, yeah, it was bad in this way, that way, that way. These are manipulative way of asking questions. So assume facts and then put it in that way. I know the cinema must have been very lousy, right? Question was put. That means I assume the cinema is lousy, not interesting, and you're gone for that. Is it not lousy? Expecting the person to concur to what you say. Choices. Either you pay before or avail discount or pay later. It's a what we say as a binary question. Would you like to register for the webinar today or tomorrow? That means you please register for the webinar. Are you going to do today or tomorrow? So it's called choices. These questions are put to make the other person say affirmatively. Inspiring questions. Inspiring questions are useful to motivate someone. Inspiring questions are good for coaching and guiding. What is the difference between living and existing? So you make the other person think and then answer. How old would you be if you didn't know how old you are? How old would you be if you didn't know how old you are? If you don't know what age you are today, and if someone asking you how old you are, what will you answer? These are thought provokers and make the other person think about it. Like the famous question that is being asked in many training webinars, when training programs, especially motivational programs, is if you are asked to start your life again from the beginning, how would your life be, or what would you like to do? Or if God comes and says that, my son, you're going to live for another 100 years with all health and abundance, how would you like to live your life? If what you do, you will never fail, what will you do? If in what you do, you will never fail, then what will you do? These are all inspiring questions, mind opener questions, thought provoking questions that can open up people's thinking and choices, and we can guide them and lead them. Okay, would it not be a very productive thing to attend a training program for self-empowerment? Yes. Yeah. So how? Yes. Can I know this? Yes. Can you elaborate? Then the person will start saying this. I'll feel empowered. I'll feel really get better communication. I'll be able to be a better team player. I know leading. Person will come up with all these aspirations and expectations, and indirectly the person conforms to what you want the person to do. Isn't this program addressing your need, and is it very helpful? Yes, the person mostly will say, and then what makes it useful to him, the person can come out. If God gives you all the power under the sun, what one thing you will do immediately? So these are all inspiring questions when you ask. Instead of telling, you provoke their thinking and make them come up with their answers, and then guide them and lead them by asking more probing questions, and then finally asking closed-ended questions, lead them. So this is how the pattern to ask questions, begin with an open-ended question to gather more information, like how they do in interview. Yeah, so can you say about you? Hey, Baba, I've given all in my resume, biodata, blah, 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 blah. Why are you asking me again? Basically, such kind of questions, please tell me about yourself, or can I know about you, is to put the candidate in a comfortable position. It's more for him to feel comfortable, open out. Whatever he knows already, they begin from the known, and maybe probing is done later. So begin with an open-ended question to gather more information. Probing questions that explore more detail about what area, what particular interest. Then gradually bring down to closed questions to test the understanding and confirm facts. You mean to say that when I offer this job, you can join immediately, maybe next week? Yes, thank you very much. So like that, you can narrow down to the discussion, asking specific questions to get confirmation from the respondent. And then what if questions to test how the answers stand up to experimentation related scenario. What if I ask you to join, maybe not next week, but 3 days later, just about 3 days time? Or what if I offer you and then you get a better job? So like that, we can ask questions to confirm the future possibility and ensure the respondent responds in the way you want him to respond. So this is how normally the questioning funnel is being coined, and you can follow it. So what do you expect from this training program? Open-ended question. In what areas of your life this training can make changes? A probing question. Do you now think you can use this tool of questioning? Closed-ended question. What if you want to gather information from a friend using this funnel technique? Do you think it is very handy? So like this, when you coin and put it, there are chances that you get the information that you want, and the interaction becomes meaningful for both. 2 questions to get always focused on whatever you do. This even need not be asked others. This you can ask yourself also. And this is what I normally ask people when they enroll for my NLP workshop or even any other kind of training programs I conduct. The first 2 questions that I ask: why do I want to do what I want to do? Why have I enrolled for this NLP program? I'll ask people to answer, why have I enrolled for this program? And then how will I know I've got what I wanted? How will I know that I have gained from attending NLP program? Now this they need to answer beforehand, before the start of the program. That means when you know, how will I know I've got what I wanted? That means you set up parameters to get feedback about your involvement, about your participation, and are you getting what you wanted from the whole program? Otherwise, we will get lost in the maze of information being shared. Because a lot of activities are given in any training program, discussions, case studies, then interaction, jokes, light talks, then lunch, tea break, discussions. We may get lost perhaps, from the main purpose of attending this program. So when you get or answer precisely to these 2 questions, your brain, RAS, reticular activating system, will be in place that automatically your subconscious mind will be focused towards what you wanted. So why, suppose you get up in the morning, why have I got up in the morning now? For what purpose have I woken up now? That means you get to the purpose of being awake for the whole day. What am I going to do for the whole day? That's the question. And how will I know that I have lived this purpose today? At the end, then when I've completed these jobs, okay, at the end of the day, I can always say, yes, the purpose of being awake today is served. That means you set an agenda and a parameter to evaluate in an ongoing way that you lead a purposeful life. These 2 questions can be asked. Anything that you do, why do I do this? How will I know why I do this is served? Like normally example I give is, why do I go to a restaurant? Yeah, when I feel hungry, so I go to a restaurant. How will I know the purpose of visiting restaurant is fulfilled? When I know my tummy is full, then yes, I walk out. Same way, when you have parameters, then your life will be very focused. Your activity will be very focused. These 2 questions keep you really focused. Very, very powerful. So what next? Whatever happens. Normally, when we struggle in life, stumble upon a difficulty, or suddenly disadvantaged situations appear in front of us, we feel stuck, then it's human nature to initially feel down, disappointed, feeling lost. After some time, we can ask these 2 questions. So what? What next? அதனால என்ன? அடுத்தது என்ன? அந்த கேள்வி மனசு கேட்கும் பொழுது, the mind will start finding answers. So what? What is so great about this problem? What can happen after? What can happen? So what is next? People who commit suicide do not ask this question. Suicide literally doesn't mean not even ending life. Suicide here also means just giving up and walking away from an assignment. You keep attending something, you keep doing something, suddenly totally you feel lost and then you feel disappointed, nothing, thus far, no further, I cannot do anything. They quit and walk away. They say, quitters never win, winners never quit. These slogans we hear. Now, why people still hold on and keep doing despite difficulties and disappointments, they keep asking this question, so what? What next? So what? What next? When you keep asking this question, you need to literally ask this question inside, not intellectually appreciate the questions, but ask this question, so what? I have lost everything, so what? What next? Then that will open up. That will open up. And many of you are already acquainted with the law of attraction or universal power, abundance and all. We are living in a very intelligent universe, and the universe is a co-creator with our thinking, with our attitude. So when you decide to stick on, hold on, and work further, universe will give you answers and you can move forward. So only when you ask this question, so what and what next, the mind will be open to attract answers out from nowhere, like the Archimedes, or like you can say our great Oldton, no? Newton. Yeah. Now, if Newton is still alive, he will be called Oldton. That's the joke they say. Now, Newton was asleep happily under a tree. Apple fell on his head. It irritated him. Why can't it go up? Why is it coming down? No, he was irritated. Then the answers came. Then the law of gravity was discovered. Same way, so what? What next? When you ask that question, like Newton discovered law of gravity, you can discover new answers for your life's situation and can move on. And this is what is called morning power questions. What am I happy about in life now? Or what am I excited about? I've got up now. What am I excited about life? You need to ask that. When we get up, normally I've seen people, very hazy, as if they are coming out of a maze. And then there is so much of, the face is very dull. And then they need to, especially they say Monday morning blues, oh, I need to go to office. Whereas when you change the focus, what am I happy about in life? When you ask that, first presupposition is that there is happiness in your life and you need to find out. So you are redirecting your thinking towards joy, happiness, and contribution. What am I happy about in life? We are blessed. We are blessed in many ways. We may be lacking in some areas, yet we need to count on what we already have on hand. And from that only we need to move towards what we want. For not getting what we want, if we keep cursing our life, condemning our life, and close our eyes to the blessings only that we have, we lose sight of even what we have, and then life can become still difficult. So it's important that you need to keep your mind happy, basically. Happiness, you don't have to have a reason for being happy. Being happy is the basic mandate for people to be contributing to their life, to others also, for developing skills and keep moving forward. It is important. It's basically important to be happy, no matter what has happened in your life. You need not have a reason to be happy. You can and you need to simply be happy. That's the foundation for human existence. Yeah. So what am I happy about in life? What am I excited about in life? What am I proud now? What am I grateful? Aridu aridu மானிடராய் பிறத்தல் எளிது. அவ்வை சொல்றா இல்லையா? அதன் பிறகு it goes, we are given all the faculties of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting. Our hands can swing, our legs can walk, we can do whatever we want to do. The privilege of seeing the sun, seeing this moon, crossing the horizon, full moon, new moon day, the darkness, the stars in the sky. So much of blessings we have. If we can enjoy that, then other things can come. What am I committed to in my life right now? And what do I love? Who loves me? All these questions, these are just examples being given. You can coin your own power questions in the way and keep moving forward. And at the end of the day, What is so great about today? That means, what have I done today? If you feel that you're not done, it's okay. Okay, so what can I do tomorrow? By the end of the day, that I'll feel happy about. What have I given today? What have I given today? Because giving is very important in life. Ittar periyor. சாதி இரண்டொழிய வேறில்லை சாற்றுங்கால் நீதி ஒழுவா நெறிமுறையான் மேதினியில் இட்டார் பெரியோர் இடாதார் இழிகுலத்தோர் பட்டாங்கில் உள்ளபடி ஔவை says the giving is very, very important in life. The giver gains. The giver gains. So if you tune yourself to giving unreservedly, the universe will give 10 times more unreservedly. The more you give, the more you gain. It's a fact of life. No logic can explain this. No science can prove this. There is no empirical evidence for this. Yet, people leading life knows that you give, you gain. What did I learn today? NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, there's a famous presupposition. It's being shared in many places. There is no failure, only feedback. There is no failure, only learning. Every day is in learning. So what did I learn today? How has today added value to my life? And how can I use today as an investment for tomorrow? So these questions are mind opener questions. I've just shared a few. You can coin your own questions, because basically questions are seeking answers. Quality questions elicit quality answers. And all those leaders who have become successful in life asked the right kind of question at the appropriate time, and they got the right answers and they moved forward. So if you learn to ask questions, and if you tune yourself to asking questions with all curiosity and positive expectation, life can keep on giving answers. And finally, smart question. The simply way to ask questions. That's how SMART is only an acronym. So this is how I say. Sincere and simple. Questions have to be in less than 2 sentences. Oftentimes I've seen in webinars, training programs, when question hour is opened up, people stretch a lot. In fact, the session was really very interesting, and mostly I appreciate all the points that are being shared. And in my view, what I would like to say, they keep on saying, and then I have a question. I don't know whether I'm appropriate or not. They put all these ifs and conditions and then their own mind-reading statements before asking questions. Instead of that, when the question hour is there, if you can ask questions right away in simple sentences, it makes the other person to respond easily. So simple and sincere is better. Meaningful. Questions must make sense to the respondent and context specific. Like the initial video we saw in Tamil between 2 people. Since I don't watch cinema, I forgot. Those Singamuthu and the other person. Yes. So meaningless questions were asked. So the other fellow was irritated and he ran away. So questions must make sense to the respondent, and it must be context specific. And when you ask questions, allow sufficient time for the respondent, not like the TV debates happening. The anchor will ask a question, the guest would be answering, and in between the anchor would barge in and then deviate, ask another question, build on that. Maybe that's okay for the TV debate. It's that time, it's okay. But in life, when you want to interact with people, allow time for the people to respond and then ask the next question. Respect the respondent. It's very, very important that you respect the person and you believe the person can give meaningful answers or sincere answers. Even though the answers may not be intelligent or what you want, but respect the person. Tone of voice. Tone of voice needs to be appropriate, indicating trust and not like investigation. So smart way of asking questions, make the person mostly respond adequately, appropriately, and in a pleasing way. So with this, learn to ask questions that are productive and not counterproductive. Yeah. So with this, I conclude the webinar and make the floor open for you to ask questions.